Gethard Presents. I'm standing here with Brett Extra Hands Arnold. Brett, come on out, give a smile and a wave. Come on out, give a smile and a wave. Guys, this guy's name is Brett, but you can call him Extra Hands. His nickname is Extra Hands. Everybody call him that. Listen, traditional television loves a good formula. They want you to find a formula that works, and they want you to do it again and again. And I get it, and it leads often to very successful stuff, sometimes to good stuff, but I don't know if it leads to interesting stuff. That's why I'm so excited about tonight's show. Christi Chiello is back. She put on a standout episode many, many weeks ago. It's called Coochie Creek, and now she's throwing it out because that's what we can do around here. We don't have to follow formulas. We can say, I did that already. Let me try something else. Let me take some stabs in the dark. Let me follow my instincts, which I think is the most important thing you can do as an artist. I think that's true. What do you think, Extra Hands? Thumbs up or thumbs down? He gave me a thumbs up, I promise. I promise. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, I am so excited to welcome back one of my favorite comedians. I'm always fascinated watching her, and I always love the way she takes things to different places. Give it up for Christi Chiello.
To Rejection, parentheses, a talk show. Tonight we will be having a very candid discussion about, you guessed it, rejection. Now, I am your host, Christi Chiello, and I thank you guys so much for being here, really. Some of you may have seen my last episode of Chris Gethard Presents. It was called Coochie Creek. There we go. Yes, it was bright, it was horny, it was high energy, it was really a lot of fun. But tonight is going to be a little different, and that is because if I had to choose one word to sum up all of 2019, it would be rejection. So, when I first started in this business, 59 years ago, I was warned about that little word, People would say to me, oh, Christi, you want to be an actor? Well, there's a lot of rejection. You're a stand-up comedian? Wow, aren't you afraid they'll hate you? And I always took those warnings in stride, because I'm not like normal people. I'm a New Yorker, okay? I know how to roll with the punches, right? And year after year I did, and eventually I became a working comic. And I think that is pretty cool. But here's the thing about rejection. It never ends. Okay, it will follow you around like a shitty wedding date. And for the first time in my life, I've started to talk about this with people, and it's helped because I think it is a shared experience. It's like the most unavoidable aspect of being human, and it comforts me to know that it is not our strength or our courage that unites us as people. It's the fact that we are all fucking rejects. Sure, not everyone is a public access star like myself. But we all deal with this concept, We didn't get the job, We were ghosted by someone we were interested in. We weren't accepted by the family or anyone. We all know this feeling. And do you want to hear something that's really actually fucked up? I'm gonna get a little closer so I can, just excuse me. I actually love hearing about other people's rejection. Okay, truly, there is nothing that turns me on more than hearing about other people's failures. Okay, for me, truly, foreplay is hearing the story of how Michael Jordan didn't make his high school basketball team. I get off on it. I do, and I think you're the same, you fucking pervert. Right? You know, and it feels good, you know, because it means that you're not alone, you know, and feeling excluded can lead to a whole shit ton of bad things to happen, you know, like it can lead to shame or anxiety or depression. Like, okay, just an example here. I'm walking. Okay, so last year, I mustered up the courage to ask this guy out on a date. And he was somebody that I met in my church group. And let's just call him Tate because that's his name. So his name's Tate. And I am very horny for Jesus. Everyone here knows that about me. But so subsequently, I became very horny for Tate. And we made plans to go and meet up for coffee, okay? And I got there early. I was very excited, and I got there about 10 minutes early, and then I waited for him to come, and then I waited for an hour. And people, you know, they would come into the coffee shop and then be like, oh, you know, can I sit here? And I'd say, oh no, you know, I'm saving that for someone, you know, and I waited, and I waited, and I even like checked my phone, you know, for texts and a voicemail, and I even like turned it off and on in case like something was wrong with my phone. And you know, I knew that I had the right place and the right time, and he just never bothered to show up. And I felt very embarrassed, you know, and it takes a lot for me to feel embarrassed, you know, but I felt like people were looking at me and they felt bad for me, you know, and this seemingly sweet man that I met in church, of all places, he totally stood me up, you know. I was quite literally holy ghosted. Now, I did not go on another date for 11 months after that because I was so afraid of that happening again. I'm exploring the space. I felt very afraid of that happening again, and that's probably truly like the worst part of all of this, you know, like that fear of rejection keeps you from trying new shit, you know, and like so much of the sadness that I will sometimes feel inside, it isn't even because of like the loss itself, as much as it's what I'm telling myself about the experience. You know, you guys are nodding, and that makes me happy. I didn't even tell you to do that, you know? It's like this cruel, cruel way that I can put myself down, you know? Like, can I ask you, what is your name?
Austin.
Austin. Oh, great. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're wonderful.
Thanks.
So, what is your name?
Austin.
Austin. Thank you. Hi, I'm Christy.
Hi.
Hey. Austin, listen, I want to tell you something. So I actually, I have this inner critic, and I don't know if maybe you do too. And I've named her Veronica because no one nice is named Veronica. And she's this like mean, like Regina George type that lives inside my head, and she's only awake and stirring up shit when I'm at my most vulnerable. Like her only task in life is to sabotage me. So a few months ago, Austin, I tried to do political comedy. Gasp. Like that. I know, it was a huge, huge mistake. For anyone that knows me, you know that I have a 12th grade education at best. And the only things that I know about truly are like Jesus and pop music and sex. But, you know, I wanted to step outside my comfort zone, so I tried this political comedy, and I bombed. You know, I totally bombed. And not like a playful bomb, like a legitimate bomb. Like at one point I heard like an audible, like a person in the audience being like, Christy, like, they didn't say my name because they probably didn't know it. But they were like, oh wow, what is she doing? You know, I heard that. And it really hurt. And whenever I'm injured, Veronica, my inner critic. She just shows up, you know, ready to rub Purell in my wounds. And she says things to me in my head. So Austin, if you don't mind, can you just read exactly what I have written out here? So this is the kind of stuff that Veronica says to me when that happens.
What the fuck were you thinking? I knew your jokes would bomb. You should have listened to me, you fucking idiot. This is what you get for not going to college. Now go get another Klondike bar to make us feel better, you dumb slut.
Oh, that was actually really fucked up of you, Austin. Really fucked up, Austin. So I have spent truly my entire life trying to shut Veronica up. Okay, she's not my friend. And it's funny because, okay, so I say friend. And I think that's really interesting because people always tell you, you know, you should talk to yourself the way you would talk to a friend. I have never done that. A day in my fucking life. I have never done that. When my best friend got dumped, I threatened to burn her ex's house down. Okay, and I fucking meant it. I was about to scorch a colonial. like I was Lisa Left Eye fucking Lopez. Because my girlfriend is this amazing queen and he deserved arson, you know? But I rarely go to bat like that for myself, you know? Okay, so now, I do want to get into something that that I think hopefully you guys can relate to. Something personally, I feel a lot of exclusion on a little thing called the internet. I think that we all make comparisons to people online. Last week, I liked a photo of the house my sister bought. Okay, and you know what I bought last week? Tissues for my tears. No, but really, actually, my last major purchase was this. Yes. Thank you. So this is an ass mask. It's a mask that looks like an ass, and I bought this for a bit, and I wore it to a very poorly attended open mic in Bushwick. Okay? And the only reason why I didn't bring it here tonight is because I left it at the bar, along with my pride. Now look, okay, spoiler alert, the internet is not real, okay? Everyone knows this. If you look at my Instagram, it looks like I'm thriving. And of course it looks like that. My Instagram is a highly curated social media platform that shows only the best parts of my life. So yes, it's supposed to look like that. Like, okay, for example, a few weeks ago, I was on the train, the 7 train, and a homeless man, just to spite me, sneezed in my mouth. Okay? I got teary-eyed, like I was gonna cry, and I almost threw up. And then, moments later, on the exact same train ride home, I posted this tweet. I gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. Till the day I die, I'ma touch the sky. That's a Kanye West lyric that I really like, and that's just my head photoshopped on a bunch of Iron Men. You would never know that I was going through something. And look, not to mention the trolls. Okay, now a few years ago, and I don't want to brag, but I did do a roast battle on Comedy Central. Now, I was eliminated night 1 of the competition, okay? But it was really fun and I loved it. And I think because roast battles can be very savage, a lot of people on the internet felt that they could be savage too, and I received an onslaught of internet hate. So these are just a couple of my favorites, and I'll read them to you because people at home can see, but for those of you here. The first one is pig face. I cringed so hard on that last joke. How is she a comedian? That one has 3.2 thousand likes. She only showed up because she thought it was a pot roast. That one I actually think is clever. Wow, that lady's voice makes me want to eat rat poison. 1.9 thousand likes. Is she actually disabled? Not a joke, just want to know. A comedy genius, that's referring to Jimmy Carr, versus something I'm not even sure we can call a woman. She got herself out of breath telling each joke. And the last one, which is very thought out, Christi Chiello is completely unprepared in every set I've ever seen her in. Being a terrible comic can be endearing, but she's just confusing. She comes across as an audience member who won a Be a Comic for the Night contest, reading jokes off a paper that someone else wrote for her. Whew. Those are just some that I chose. And there are hundreds and hundreds, thousands more of them. Now, I know that these people are trolls. I know that. And they hide behind their keyboards and their dragon avatars, you know, in their parents' basement, and they talk shit. That's what trolls do. But yeah, it can be challenging sometimes. You know, I've learned to just not read the comments ever because they're always bad. Now, online appearances, yeah, they can be very deceiving. You know, even Chris Gethard gets rejected. And I know that because he told me once at La Peine Quotidienne. So, that is what tonight's show is about. Chris Gethard's shortcomings. No, I'm kidding. But really, this show is new for me. It's not like me to be on a stage and not jumping up and down and talking about dicks or Jesus. So will this be comedy or will this be a sad play? Nobody knows. And yeah, I am nervous, for sure. You know, I don't want to feel rejected by you guys, the audience, you know, but I didn't want that fear to stop me from trying something new that I wanted to do. So here we are. Now, I have invited a few of my favorite people to join me for some honest conversations. And I want anyone watching at home to join in this discussion, and anyone here. And the question that I am asking you guys is this: when do you feel the most afraid or uncomfortable? So that is the question. When do you feel the most afraid or uncomfortable? Now, it's really important to me that nobody in this room feels embarrassed at all, okay? Like, no one here is better than anyone else. So to start, I want to just have us all do something really fucking stupid so that we're all just like on the same page and we all don't have to feel weird. Okay, so I just thought that we could all maybe make like a really disgusting face and like an even worse noise to go with it. Okay, and we're gonna do that on the count of 3 all together, and then we're all gonna feel stupid, and then that'll be good. Okay, ready? So stupid face, stupid sound on 3. 1, 2, 3. That was good. Wow, good, that was great. That was disgusting. But we're all on the same page, great job, okay. Woo! My first guest tonight is someone, I got these bangs and I don't know what to do with them. I'm a huge fan of my next guest. I run into her often at auditions, and we've really bonded over our shared heartbreak in the biz. It's been a tough year for your girl, Cece. You know, I think at this point I could go out for the role of Christi Chiello and not book it. But she is an incredible, larger-than-life performer. And I'm really just excited for you all to see a different side of her tonight. So please join me in welcoming the absolutely wonderful Katie Hartman.
Here we are! Getting vulnerable! Really getting down to who we are! Hello, Christi Pump. Yes! A Christi Pump. So good. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, my
Your hat fell.
Yes.
Katie, look, this is very funny, but this isn't actually what we talked about.
Let me do one more time.
We talked.
It's the rule of threes.
We actually talked about just not doing a character
Yes, we
and
did.
just settling into just
We
being ourselves.
absolutely, yes.
Because you and I like to do characters.
Correct.
but
I
just
shall
not
do
be
that
ourselves.
then. All right, you sit
Great, thank
down.
you.
Okay, I'll take off.
Thanks,
I
Katie.
take off the
just be
wig.
yourself.
I take off every. It's very easy to talk about myself as myself.
Okay,
I
great.
love every bit of it. I've never felt more comfortable in my life. Oh no, the sticky tape came off. What? Who is this crab walker? A rejected SNL character? If it is, would it suck Lauren Michaels' dick? It would. It would. It would. It would. Look how high this mustache woman can kick. Ah! It is quite high. Christi?
Katie.
Hey, Christi?
Katie.
Look how vulnerable I'm being.
Katie. Katie, this isn't what we talked about.
I
really,
know, but the
it's
thing is that
very
if
funny.
you reject this idea, it's kind of like you going back on what you
Okay.
were gonna do. So
Okay,
who's
that's-
the bad one? Okay.
Okay, that's fair,
Okay.
but I think that, maybe just wrap this up so we can get
Okay,
to the talk we're supposed to have.
I shall. I shall.
Okay, good.
I definitely won't pull out another wig.
Okay.
Oh no, it's so cold. It's so cold. Oh, I'm a ghost. But everyone can see me.
Katie,
Yeah.
are you wrapping up?
Yes. Okay. So I'm
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
It's tiring.
Okay.
Okay.
You want me to just bear it all?
Yes.
You just want me to bear it all.
It's
Okay.
exhausting doing this, I know.
Okay.
So it just,
No, I know. Trust me. Trust me, I know. I don't do stand up like you. I cannot stand up on stage and be myself in front of other people. It
Yeah.
is mortifying. Okay. I'm just gonna bear it all.
Okay.
Ladies, okay.
Okay, thank you,
Here we
Katie.
go.
Oh, God.
I am a human being. I believe in myself.
Katie, I know, honey. Katie, are you okay?
I'm good. I'm good.
Are you all done, Katie?
I think I'm good. I think I'm ready.
Okay.
I think I'm ready.
That was great. That was really, really fun, Katie. But let's
Don't say it if you don't mean it.
I do. I know. I thought it was very. I truly thought it was very funny. But I'm glad. I'm glad that that's done.
Will you unzip me?
Because I do have some things I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah, no, we can talk.
All right.
I think I got it out of my system.
Okay, good, Katie. All right.
Can you
so do
unzip me though?
Oh, sure,
I
yes.
wasn't just putting my back to you to be a cunt.
I wasn't sure. I didn't know if it was still a part of the character.
No.
No, absolutely, Katie. Here. There she is. Okay, good. Okay, great. Here, just get out of here.
Let's take my shoes off. Let's take my shoe
I
off.
gotta take your shoe off?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, no shoes. Okay, there we go.
It's a onesie,
Okay.
so it's a full bodysuit, so you can't
Wow,
have
you
shoes.
really committed to that bit.
Yeah, well, if they don't like me for who I am, I mean, at least I committed.
You did commit, Katie, but I'm glad that you're finished. So yeah, come have a seat and we'll just.
Am I just using the lav now? Great, okay.
Oh, great.
Okay,
Excellent job.
okay, we're just gonna talk about. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Just give me one more.
Sure.
Just give me.
Absolutely, Katie. Yeah,
One more
whatever you
thing.
feel like you need to do.
Yep. I'm ready.
Stay right here. Katie.
I'm ready.
I think we have here. Just, do you want to clean up your face?
Oh, sure, thank you.
So that we can just...
Thank you very much.
That's it? Okay. That's it. Wow, okay,
You know what?
Katie.
This stings less than cum. And less than corn syrup, which is mixed with, which is how you make fake blood.
Wow.
Which is how I know.
You look great, Katie.
Does sting more than real
Are
blood,
you
though.
okay? All right, you look great.
I feel great.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get vulnerable,
Let's
Christi.
get, okay, yeah, I think to start tonight, I think I just have to ask you what the fuck just happened. I think it's just the only place to start.
Yeah.
We had talked about you coming on just doing, because I know you do these amazing characters, but we
They
don't
were
want to do
pretty
that.
amazing.
Yeah, they're very funny, but
I worked so hard on those 85 characters you just saw. I find it terrifying and horrifying to be myself in front of people in a public way.
Really?
Because, it's very, like, I don't do stand-up because I think that it's too scary. But I will do anything else.
I think it's very refreshing to hear that, because I think people would see somebody like you who is seemingly so fearless.
Yeah. How does she act like such an asshole so fearlessly?
You know, Katie.
Yeah, tell me.
You and I have really bonded over our rejections in this business. We see each other a lot at auditions. We go out for a lot of the same parts.
Sure.
And
Yeah, you got that IKEA commercial.
I did.
Yeah. I could have paid off my credit card with that.
And commercial auditions are the absolute worst.
Oh, yeah, no. That,
I think we can agree.
I feel very lucky that early on in that part of my career, I knew to not take any of that to heart. Because really, they're just doing this.
Yeah.
And usually they're just like, my cousin with the tits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, yeah, she should do it.
You know,
she should just do it.
Yes, commercial auditions, it'll be like looking for a male or female ages 20 to 60.
Yeah, it's like they should be
Anyone.
a Wanda Sykes, Amy Poehler type.
Yeah.
It should be like Dana Carvey mixed with a little Chris Gethard.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
It should,
Your name has definitely been on commercial casting sheets.
I also know people who have gotten to the place where like their name is listed and they've auditioned and not gotten it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Chris Gethard. Are you serious?
Yeah, because ultimately they're just like, they don't know what they want.
Shut the fuck up. I can't. I fucking can't.
Wouldn't
I'm
it be
done.
funny if I got that commercial?
Yeah, right? But like, Katie, we talked about this a little bit. Like, okay, so for auditions that aren't commercials, for like film, television, as like an actor, we want to be as prepared as possible. You know, so we want to know our lines and show up and do a good job. But then we're expected to just forget about it. We don't want to get too invested in the part. So I'm wondering how you go about doing that. How do you not let yourself, when you learn for this character and you're like, oh my God, this would be so perfect for me, how do you just let that go afterwards?
I think
if
it depends on the role.
Yeah.
My process is to immediately throw the sides away and like go treat myself with something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Even sometimes it's just like a walk.
Yeah.
And just fucking forget about it. But it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Because you want to show up as prepared as possible. Because then you can always blame, if you're not, you can always blame it on the thing of like, you know, you can sort of self-sabotage. You can be like, well, I didn't have my lines
I didn't know the
completely
lines. I got
memorized.
them last night.
Yeah, like I said fuck too much in the audition. That happens sometimes.
Yes.
And I'm like, I really should be more professional, but that's just me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that like, it's hard. I think it's been a practiced thing, especially for things that I think I'm really good for, and I know I'd like kick the shit out of it.
Yeah.
But it's just that thing where you're like, okay, it wasn't mine.
See, it's so, I don't know how to do that. You know, it's like I get so wrapped up into like the what ifs of everything, but it goes the other way. Like with something like, with the part or something, it'll be like, oh my God, if I book this job, I will be able to pay my rent for 6 months.
Can't think about it.
And I'll think, oh my God, this will change my life, and then I'll be able to like help my parents, like everything.
The like biggest thing I ever got, I think I had 3 callbacks for, and I knew it was against me and one other girl.
Was this the movie? Katie was in a wonderful movie on Netflix.
Yeah. One of the thousands and millions of movies on Netflix. But like, it felt like very. The first audition felt very like, I didn't know what it was, it didn't have a title, and it felt like a very bland like scene, so I was just like, I'm not gonna get this. And I just did it, because that's the thing. If you don't care, they're just like, you're great, I love you.
I fucking hate that.
So if you can harness that thing and just...
They tell you not to care, but I care so much.
So much. Well, yeah, I mean, this is our job. This is what we love to do. Were you worried I was going to knock that over?
I was going to throw it over.
Yeah, I mean, like, we care a lot because it's, like, what we want to do. And I think that doing my own work and writing my own shit has been, which is better than this. She knows.
It's funny because she has whipped cream on her face.
Oh, do I? Oh. Oh no.
I'm so proud of you for getting vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard. It's so much not fun. So for me, it's always, if I ever feel really fucking down or really stagnant or really being like down on myself or down on the world or my career or whatever, just like art in general, I'm just like, why do I love this? What is fun about it?
Yeah.
What brought me into this in the first place?
That's so
and
good.
as I was standing back there with 40 layers of clothes on, I actually did remember in 4th grade, I read this book by Louis Sacker called Dogs Don't Tell Jokes. It's like I don't even know if it's in print anymore.
Someone's clapping.
Yeah. It's one of it has this kid who really wants to be a stand-up. And he puts a pie in his face, or he puts whipped cream in his face. And I did a book report on it, and I fucking just remembered that I ended with that in that thing. I was in 4th grade. Guys, I've been doing this a long time. But like, that truly, like, I did it because I thought it would be really funny. And like, I mean, I had friends before, and after, but I don't know. I felt like, why the fuck not?
Yeah.
And I feel like if I can get to that place, whatever. I'm choking on whipped cream down the back of my throat.
You got water? This
What?
is for you. Have
No,
one.
I'm committing.
That's my girl. That is my girl.
It's a lot of dairy.
I could talk to you about this for days, and I will. Not on the camera, but I do believe we have some callers that I would really like to get to.
Perfect.
We have Sam from Australia. Sam from Australia. Can you hear me, Sam?
Yes.
Hi, Sam. How are you? So do you want to share with us what makes you feel the most scared or uncomfortable, Sam?
Well, I don't think I'm alone here, but making a phone call makes me feel very uncomfortable and anxious. So that also answers how I'm feeling.
Wonderful. So, like, do you mean this phone call specifically, or just using the phone?
Using the phone.
I think that that's pretty common. I think that nowadays it's like, you know, I mean, I'm not original in this thought. There's like memes about it, but people are like, why are you calling me when you can text? You know, I think it's kind of a rare, it's a rare thing. What, is there anyone you feel you can just talk on the phone to for like hours and days?
Or just strangers?
Yeah.
I don't know. I used to be able to have like really long phone conversations, and that would, like, if anything, I'd feel better at the end rather than more anxious. And it's just gotten less so as time goes on.
Wow. Well, I have to say, and this isn't just to butter you up, I think you have a really great voice. And I really like talking to you on the phone. And I think that also, too, like, kudos for, like, calling a fucking live show when that's something that, yeah, you can clap for that. That's really nice, you know,
You
when
have a
that's
great
something that
voice,
freaks
too.
you out. Because I think it is kind of a weird thing. You know, I'll get weird anxiety when I have to call my dad, because that's just like, what do you talk about with your dad? Succession? Like, it's like, I don't know what to talk to my fucking father about. I ask about, like, if he saw the latest episode, and then, like, we get off the phone, you know? And then if he's like, what? I'm like, I don't want to repeat that. You know? Like, that's the conversation. So, yeah.
Does he say anything in those conversations?
Oh, my God. Yeah. He'll recap episodes. He'll tell me what the dog is doing, and that's it. Hi, Dad. I know he's watching. But listen, I think that can be a scary thing, and you know, I don't have the answers, but I hope that you can feel proud to know that you shared that, and other people are probably scared of that too. And I think also this is like a huge step. So like, know that you did it tonight and you killed this phone call, and like, you're well on your way, kid. Thanks for calling, bye. Wow. Katie, thank you so much for being here tonight. I truly could talk to you for days. I think that you're exceptional and amazing. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Katie Hartman. I know, you can feel free to leave things too. Now, here to promote next week's episode of Katie's Crossing. Now, here to promote next week's episode of Chris Gethard Presents, he's hysterical, he's one of my friends, and I adore him. Ladies and gentlemen, Martin Urbano.
Oh my God, unbelievable job, Christi.
Thank
The
you,
show is so
Martin.
good. I would totally relate if I had ever been rejected or felt bad. Thank you all so much. Hi, I'm Martin Urbano, but my friends call me the thinking man's Jeffrey Epstein. Forgot I wrote that one. We can all agree that the country is more divided now than it has been in the entire history of the United States. But at the end of the day, at least there's one thing we can all agree on: what good comedy is or isn't. So I'm back next week with Martin Urbano's Comedy Amateur Class Volume 2, because no sexual harassment lawsuit is gonna stop me from living my life. I've learned so much in the past couple of months, and I can't wait to share it with you all before the PC police tries to cancel me by having the PC FBI confiscate my hard drives. See you next week, kids. Christi, back to you.
I love you, Martin. Make sure to check it out. I watched his first episode with his amateur class. It's amazing, so check it out. It's gonna be awesome. My next guest is one of my very best friends. Now, I saw her many years ago doing an improv show at UCB, and it was terrible. But she was incredible, and I was there because I was actually dating the worst improviser on the show. And I remember at one point, I swear to God, somebody handed him what was clearly a baby, like, and he took it and he took a bite at it. And he was like, oh, what a yummy loaf of bread. I was like, this fucking tool bag. Yet I dated him for 3 months. Anyway, who would have known that the nightmare that is improv would introduce me to my second guest. Now, I fell in love with watching her totally on the stage. I added her on Instagram. I stalked her for 7 months before sliding in her DMs. Thankfully, she did not reject me. Please give it up for one of my very best friends, Carly and Filbin! The song, it was adorable!
I probably heard me say that.
Carly, thank you so much. That actually felt really organic. Carly whispered something in my ear, and then it was like a natural laugh, and I was like, wow, that's what they really do on talk shows.
Yeah.
Because that was really organic. She was like, you're doing a really great job, and then she goes, oh my God, my mic's on, they probably heard that.
And speaking of vulnerability, you know that I have like an issue sometimes with like hugging.
Yeah, yes.
And you went in for it live.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
And you embraced that. I'm
I
proud
did.
of you.
You want to know what? Can I just
Yeah.
say something and kick it off? I know this is your show. I'm actually very proud of you for doing this because I know you've had a hard year and also you've been kind of a bitch. and you're like really changing things around. Like when we were talking about this show and you were like, you were doing your monologue for me and you were like so serious and I was like, maybe just like be you, and you're like, I don't even know how. I don't even know what voice I would do.
That really means a lot to me, and can I just thank you? And honestly, there was a promo. I don't even want people to watch this, but I did a promo for this show last week, and I tried to be serious. And I was just like, oh, hello, I'm Christi. And then afterwards, I was like, what was that?
Like an elderly woman.
And you're nodding because you know that. And I really tried, and my mom was like, what the fuck? Like, and I was just like, I don't know who I am without it being put on. But anyway, that means a lot to me, Carly. And I really wanted you here for a lot of reasons, but you are without a doubt the most vulnerable performer I've ever seen. So Carly has a lot of one-woman shows that are amazing. It's why I wanted to do a one-woman show. And you talk very openly and honestly. And before, Katie and I talked about professional rejection a lot. I want to get into more personal stuff with you, but before we do that, can you tell me a little bit about, I'm genuinely curious, because I don't think I know, when you talk about your experiences on stage with dating with men.
Sure.
Is there anything that's off limits? How do you go about deciding?
With dating and men?
Yes.
I think what's off limits is I'm like obsessed with being fair and like the truth. So if I haven't like really figured out the truth or really what I was feeling or really what I wanted, and I'm kind of going for what I think a good joke is, that's off limits.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Carly helped me a little bit with like a show I was doing, and Carly asked me, I wrote a whole, literally 20 pages, and Carly was like, well, Christi, what do you want the audience to like get or something, or what do you want the audience to feel? And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like just like the most simple thing. So that actually makes a lot of sense. And it's like a more simple answer than I thought it was gonna be, but it's like.
Yeah, I would say there are things with I know in my last show I talked about my mom a little bit.
Yeah, yes.
A little bit, and until my parents die, I won't talk about them on stage anymore.
Really?
Yeah. It's unfair. It's just unfair. It's just because then I would have to tell their truth. Like I couldn't just be like, my mom like did this to me. I would have to be like, my mom went to boot camp when she was 18. Like do you know what I mean? Like I would have to tell her truth, and that's just. I mean, get ready for a 3-hour show, you know?
But then why does it not that necessarily go with a boyfriend or with like an ex-boyfriend?
Because it's a less complicated situation.
Okay.
Between like my mother and me is like a way more complex situation than a guy that I fucked 3 times and was a Republican, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the guy.
Why did you make that face, you asshole? You wouldn't fuck me? Fuck you. Okay, you guys. He's not a Republican, but he would fuck me.
Carly, I want to talk to you a little bit about shame.
Yeah.
Shame is a theme you've talked about in your work, and I think for me it could be one of the really bad side effects of rejection. I feel a lot of shame.
Yeah.
Can you share with me a little bit about how shame has played a role in your life?
Sure. I don't feel it. Okay, so shame, I've thought a lot about shame. So, you know, the difference between shame and embarrassment is something I did was bad or wrong, and shame is I am bad or wrong. Okay? And I don't want this to sound, I don't want anyone to get it wrong, but I always just try to take responsibility of what has been done. So, you know what I mean? Like, and so I think that alleviates shame. Like, if shame is I am wrong, then how can I make myself right? So, and I can work in any situation. Let's say like everyone's making fun of you, they don't invite you to sit at their table at lunch, okay? Yeah. So then a way I would take responsibility for that situation is like, well, I have to admit that I care about what they think of me. Do you know what I mean? And there's something in there that you can take responsibility for. I have to take responsibility that I'm chasing this validation. Does that make sense?
Yes. No, that's profound as fuck.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit blowing my mind. And yeah, I know that you've done a lot. You've done a lot of work on yourself and work on this. So I feel like you're someone who would know.
Thank you. Well, okay, so like speaking of like rejection, you know, I'm in my 30s and I spent a lot of time alone in my 20s. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
And I didn't like date for a very long time. And I just really was, everything was like swirling around in my head. I'm very sensitive. My don't cry. I know you're about to. And so I just had to like sit alone with my thoughts for years, you guys, like for years. Like I had friends, but I like did improv, and I just like read every self-help book. I put myself out there in ways, and I was constantly getting rejected, and then I had to take responsibility for that. I had to be like, well, I am putting myself up for this rejection.
Yeah.
And now I'm in my 30s, and it really fucking annoys me that people don't know who they are. It's like, lock yourself in your apartment for 7 years, bitch. So I really do know who I am.
I know.
Carly and Filbin on Instagram.
I know. And I think it's incredible. You've taught me so much about that. You have such a strong sense of self. Mm-hmm. At this point, I feel like this is turning into a love sesh. But I'm just so glad that I'm grateful that you've been able to share that insight with me. Mm-hmm. I want to ask you 8 million more questions, but we have some calls. Is it okay if we take some calls together?
No.
Okay, well.
Yes.
We have Danny from Ontario. So many
Cute.
International calls. Danny from Ontario. Can you hear me, Danny?
I sure can.
Hey, Danny, thank you so much for calling. What's something that makes you afraid or uncomfortable?
Well, the question should be one-tiered for me to answer immediately, I should say.
Okay, I don't like this question. Bye, Danny. Thanks for calling. Was that like a roast? Oh, he's gone. Bye, Danny. Maybe I misunderstood that. I felt like that was a little bit
okay.
like he's
You know
like,
what? Don't second think it. Dismiss, move on.
Dismiss, move on. You know what? You're right. I was feeling very vulnerable. I wanted to shut that down. I'm okay. Jason from Brooklyn. I'm sorry I did that. Jason from Brooklyn, are you there? Can you hear me, Jason? I hope you're not my
I just want to say bye, Danny.
Thank you, Jason.
So the original question that I was thinking about was like, what do you feel the most afraid of or like most uncomfortable?
Yeah, I think that was my question, and I think I fucked it up.
So I have a whole list.
Okay. Maybe just give us a couple because we only have a couple minutes.
Okay. Pool parties.
Pool parties.
Meeting children that are rude. And you have to hang out with their parents if you have a child, which is not fun. New haircuts.
Haircuts?
Oh. Well, I think that.
And like just validation and doing a good job at work. I don't know.
Yeah. No, totally. I think that the one that really is resonating with me is pool parties.
I don't know what to wear.
You know, I think that pool parties can bring about a lot of insecurities. I don't know if this is particular about like wearing a bathing suit. It's funny because this is not like something for me. Like I'm not a skinny girl, and I had
Neither am I.
Jason, stop flirting with me. I have a boyfriend. But no, I think that pool parties can be, you know, I think the idea of like wearing a bathing suit, is that something that kind of scares you?
No, it's just being in the pool with other people.
Oh, because of like shit and piss?
The last time I was at a pool party, Julio was there.
Julio?
Yeah, at the Flamingo in Las Vegas. You can look it up.
Julio Torres?
Oh, I wish.
Jason.
I'm Krishna.
Are you okay?
Well, Jason, I really appreciate you sharing what makes you afraid or uncomfortable. So thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, thank you. Are we getting into shame and embarrassment now?
Okay. I think
I've
he's
been taking notes.
You've been taking. Do you want to? Can you share something, Jason? I like you. So you want to share? You want to share a shame?
11 minutes and 29 seconds.
We got
I
the time.
fucking can't.
Oh, you have too many?
And then
Okay, bye.
discuss space, 1, 2, and 3, block, block, block.
Can you repeat that one more time, Jason?
So there's a discussing phase,
Uh-huh.
and there's like 1, 2, and 3 discussing phase, and then it was like black, black, block, disgusting.
Disgusting.
No, not you. It was that.
Exactly.
That hit home.
That hit home.
Bye, Daddy.
Thank you for calling, Jason. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Carly, I want to ask you something else before we finish up.
Yeah.
I sometimes do this thing when I'm around people socially that I feel like a little bit nervous around. And for me, that'll be like maybe a guy I find super attractive or something, or like somebody in a position of power. I'll find myself like unconsciously developing this like persona that's like not me.
Yeah.
And it's like full of like exaggerated deeds and like really carefully like structured sentences. And it's just totally not me. And I'm like, whoopsie, I don't know where I went.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that, because you do have such a strong sense of self, is that something that happens to you, and I guess when would that happen to you? Can you like identify sort of
It's
the
not
triggers?
something that happens to me.
Yeah.
But if I feel uncomfortable or less than around somebody,
Yeah.
I think I will avoid them.
Really?
And I don't like that. I want to just be able to stand in myself and make eye contact.
Yeah.
But I'm already exaggerated, like that's my personality. They didn't think it was funny, but they don't know me.
Okay. I
so
want to
yeah.
talk to you for a million more years, but I think it's almost time for us to say goodbye. I really can't believe it. But before, they're telling me that I could stretch. I can stretch.
Would you have one more? But do you have one more question for me? The first one?
Oh, because you know that I prepared them.
Yeah. Because I really thought a lot about it.
Has it always been easy for you to be so vulnerable? That question?
Yes, because
Carly, has it always been? I'm wondering, Carly. Has it always been so easy for you to be so vulnerable on stage, or was that something you had to work at? I did want to ask you that.
Well, I am glad that you did, because you did send me that question, and I was thinking about it today, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess it's always been easy for me to be vulnerable on stage, but it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy for me to be vulnerable in choosing exactly what I want to do, like to make a choice and be like, I don't actually want to do improv, I want to do this.
Yeah.
But I was lying to myself, even up until today.
Really?
Yes, because I was on this show called Awkward Sex in the City.
Yep.
And it was just that, awkward sex stories. And I loved being on that show because I thought everyone would think I was having sex all the time. Because because in this 7 years I wasn't dating, I mean, I was having sex, but like not a lot.
Yeah.
Like, not a lot. And I loved like going on stage and like having this persona and kind of just tricking everybody into thinking, and that's not fucking vulnerable. Me being like,
wow,
yeah, this like person fucked me and we did coke, like that's not vulnerable. What's vulnerable is like, I liked this guy who I knew I shouldn't have, and I was attached to him and embarrassed that other people witnessed this. And so that is like what I'm trying to do in my work now. Go through my old like kind of content and just really tell the truth.
God, fuck yeah, Carly. That was awesome. I'm actually so glad I asked that question. Yeah. You can clap for that.
You can clap.
Oh my God, damn it. I forgot this whole show that there was this cool camera here that I could have used. The whole time. I forgot it was here. Okay, it's time for us to wrap things up. Katie, why don't you come back out here? Now, before we leave, I also realized, great. Okay, and Carly, yeah, join me. Wow. I think the only way to really overcome rejection, is by accepting yourself. Acceptance is powerful and also so hard. Like my camel toe. We're gonna I'm actually gonna skip ahead, yeah. Now, something that has made me feel accepted is the opportunity to do shows like this one with audiences like you guys, because it really has been great and I really appreciate this. And the Chris Gethard Presents fans are so amazing, so thank you. Now before we go, I grew up doing Girl Scouts. Do we have any Girl Scouts here or Eagle Scouts? Yes, Girl Scouts! I love that. So in Girl Scouts there is, we would recite the Girl Scout promise or the Girl Scout law. So I came up with a law of acceptance.
Don't second guess it, just say
a law of acceptance. And I would be honored if our studio audience and anyone watching at home would join me in saying this law. Now, I have not mastered this myself yet, but it's something I'm working at it. So everybody here, everyone, stand up and come over here. Quickly. Yep, you're part of the show. Quick like bunnies. Stand up back over here, face this way. Okay, wonderful. Now, in Girl Scouts, as one of you saw, we would hold 3 fingers up in the air. And I don't know why that was like very Hunger Games-like. But we don't have to do that. We can hold, you can make like a butterfly. Or you can make like any kind of woodland creature you identify with. So like a bunny, whatever you want to do. And then just hold it close to your heart. Are you gonna do it? Okay, hold it close to your heart. Okay. And repeat after me, you have to go fast. On my honor, I will try.
On my honor, I will try.
To live my truth and not to lie.
To live my truth and not to lie.
To show up and be seen.
To show up and be seen.
Like I'm a king or a queen.
Like I'm a king or a queen.
Cause I'm a baddie, yes it's true.
Cause I'm a baddie, yes it's true.
And how I feel isn't up to you.
How I feel isn't up to you.
I will never give up on me.
I will never give up on me.
Cause I'm the best that I can be.
Cause I'm the best that I can be.
I did that with 30 fucking seconds left. I accept it here.